It all started long time ago, in 1977 to be precise, in Peru when the delegates at the 9th INCOSAI adopted the Lima Declaration of Guidelines on Auditing Precepts, now known as XXII I. The principles of the Lima Declaration have guided both SAI's and INCOSAI standard setting activities ever since, and it's perceived as the Magna Carta of government auditing. With the declaration as its foundation, the Committee on Auditing Standards developed INCOSAI's first set of auditing principles. These were first launched at INCOSAI in Washington in 1992 in a package that contained also INCOSAI's Code of Ethics. This package was subsequently endorsed in Montevideo in 1998, and then, 3 years later, the standards were revised and endorsed again in Seoul in 2001. The decisions made at INCOSAI in Budapest represented a turning point in INCOSAI's history. This was where INCOSAI's very first strategic plan was presented to and adopted by the delegates. It was also here it was decided to establish a professional standards committee whose task it would be to develop and adopt effective professional standards. And it was done as said. The very first meeting of the PSC Steering Committee was held in Norway. It took 7 hours, during which the members created several subcommittees and ad hoc projects. The highly effective members also managed to have a first of many discussions of what a standard is and how we define the standard. Does this sound familiar to you? In 2007, INCOSAI's very first framework of professional standards was presented for endorsement at the Congress in Mexico. It included all existing and new standards and guidelines, and they were all available on the xxi.org website. But the framework was not all that was new. The standards and guidelines now had a name: INCOSAI's International Standards of Supreme Audit Institutions.
Are you ready?
Now things really started rolling, and the delegates in South Africa were put to work. 38 new XXIs required endorsements. Among these 6 brand new standards on compliance and performance auditing. 2010 was also the year in which INCOSAI had its first due process for developing, revising and withdrawing INCOSAI standards. And last but certainly not least, this Congress gave us the South Africa Declaration, which called on the members of INCOSAI to use the XXI framework as a common frame of reference for public sector auditing. Another outcome of the Congress in South Africa was the decision to launch a global awareness raising campaign and use all means available, and even some that were not available, to spread the happy message of the XXIs. At the Congress in China, the delegates endorsed a fully revised set of fundamental auditing principles, with XXI 100 establishing the principles that are applicable to all public sector audit engagements. Among many other important decisions made in China, the decision to carry out an evaluation of INCOSAI as a standard-setting organization deserves special mention here, Really, Christopher? A magic 8-ball? Is that your definitive evaluation strategy? Well, after careful consideration, the 8-ball strategy was replaced with a very thorough evaluation process that stretched over almost a full year and involved interviews with stakeholders, a benchmark exercise, consultations with the INCOSAI community, and lots of amendments and adjustments, deletions and insertions before the final evaluation report could be presented to the INCOSAI Governing Board. The outcome of the evaluation exercise can be boiled down to 6 recommendations: the establishment of a permanent committee for professional matters, a common forum for the framework of professional standards, setting up a separate advisory group, sharpen the due process, establish common support functions, and finally identify the long-term perspectives for INCOSAI standard setting. 3 of these recommendations have already been implemented in close collaboration with the CBC and KSC and presented here in Abu Dhabi. Our collaboration with the CBC and KSC also resulted in the emergence of a value circle that very clearly demonstrates that the activities pursued by the INCOSAI are closely interlinked and dependent on each other. Find more on this fascinating topic in the INCOSAI strategic plan. And now here we are in Abu Dhabi, with an agenda devoted to the Sustainable Development Goals and professionalization. With regard to the latter, here are 3 words that you must be able to shout out if you're woken up in the middle of the night. ISAI, that was the easy one. I, F, P, P, INCOSAI Framework of Professional Pronouncements, slightly more difficult, and FIP, another easy one, the Forum for INCOSAI Professional Pronouncements. With these 3 words in your vocabulary, things cannot go entirely wrong.